Hi, this is Anthony, the home guy Waco, and today I've got a special video for you. I'm going to go and speak with a mortgage lender about some things with credit issues. I'd like to welcome Josh Deitert to the conversation today. Josh is with Fairway Mortgage, the Wood Group here in Waco, and just want to talk to him, ask him a few questions about himself, and a few questions about what to do if our credit's not stellar like we all want it to be. Josh, go ahead and let us know a little bit about yourself and how you got into the business.
So I was actually born and raised in the Houston area. I'm from Richmond, Texas originally, and came to Baylor in 2012 and decided I should stay in Waco. I spent my first 6 years out of Baylor teaching math at Midway High School, and then decided it was time for a change with the birth of my first child, and got into the mortgage lending business because I had the math background. The rest is kind of history.
Oh, that's awesome. And I see you decided to join up with Fairway Mortgage, the Wood Group. What sets them apart from other lenders? Because there's a lot of people out here that I could call.
So the Wood Group specifically is kind of like a franchise within Fairway Mortgage. That means we have nationwide power with Fairway because we're a top 5 nationwide lender. But the Wood Group gives us our own small pocket of our own set of processors, our own set of underwriters. It kind of gives us an insulation of being a true local lender while still having that nationwide power. One of the things I really like about it is our communication that we provide with us to you as clients and to us, from us to our realtors, as well as within our own company. We have access as loan officers to ask questions of our processors, to ask questions of our underwriters, which helps the process run smoothly and efficiently.
What could I expect if I work with you personally? Because I know there's more than just you at the company, but what can I expect from you?
The biggest thing you get from me is you get consistency and in communication. And I know that, yes, we're transactional and that we're trying to help you with just a small process. I'm going to know you for hopefully a month to 2 months. But because I have that teaching background, I also know that there's a story that's unique to you, not just your financial situation, but why you're moving, what you're moving from or refinancing from and moving into. The stories is really why I got into the business. I'm a people person. I like to help people and not just stare at numbers all day.
Well, I love the aspect of the teaching as well, because with these videos, I try to teach a lot of, what's going on in real estate, because we're the same way on this side, that we know you for a couple months and we've got to help you buy a home, but a lot of first-time buyers or folks who haven't gone through the process lately, need that knowledge, and I just love that. If I decide I want to use you, what's the process with your company, and how do I see if I qualify?
So the first steps, probably with any mortgage lender, is for me to fill out an application, because everyone's situation is unique. We need to figure out kind of your unique situation financially. So the easiest way to do that is to just call or text your lender, and then they'll get you started with the application, send you a link. And then from there, your mortgage loan officer, myself included, will talk to you about those steps needed to qualify or what you already qualify for. So kind of, again, just independent basis to basis.
And what if I don't qualify? Because I'm always apprehensive, at least I hear this a lot from folks. Well, I know my credit's bad and I know I can't buy a house. What would be the next steps if I would get a hold of you, send you all my information, and find out that I'm not ready right now?
So that's one of the nice things, is that we're on no timeline. We're in no rush. We're not going out of business anytime soon. We're not going to leave you hanging. So if you're not able to qualify, we're going to be able to pinpoint what specific pieces you're not qualifying for, and kind of give you some steps and some guidance on what you can do to get qualified. If it's credit, we have the opportunity to look at a what if situation, where we can calculate if you just need a few points on your credit score to qualify for the next tier of pricing for interest rates, or if you need to qualify for an FHA loan or a conventional loan. We have those abilities. We can also refer you to a credit repair specialist we work with closely. But really, it's kind of up to the loan officer and you to have that discussion. We always want to make sure that, again, it's a two-way street. We're communicating with the borrowers, and you guys are letting us know what your needs and wants are.
Well, how come I pulled my credit score on Credit Karma, but whenever I send it to you, I hear this all the time? How come, my Credit Karma says I'm a 700, but when I went to apply for a mortgage, or even I've heard this in the car business when I used to work in a finance office, and well, how come my score with you is so much lower?
We actually get the same question quite a bit as well, so I'm glad you asked. The reason is because there are different types of credit scores for different industries. And this is kind of news to a lot of people. We use the FICO credit score, and even within FICO, there are different types of FICO credit scores. We
Right.
pull it's called a mortgage FICO, which has a range anywhere from 300 up to 850. There's a separate called a auto FICO, and the difference in those is just the algorithm that they run to compute
Right.
those numbers. Biggest one with Credit Karma, though, is they don't actually use a FICO score. They use what's called a Vantage score. And so Vantage score has a different emphasis on payment history or length of credit than the mortgage FICO does. So a lot of times, keep in mind, Credit Karma is a for-profit company. They want you to use them, and they want you to pay for some of those credit repair needs. So sometimes that credit card number is higher, sometimes that Credit Karma number is lower. The only way to really know is if you go to www.annualcreditreport.com. You can get a free one every single year, and that's the best way to know your actual credit scores for the mortgage side.
Okay. Well, what types of loans? Let's say that I have a low score, but I may qualify. What kind of loan would I qualify, especially if I'm a first-time buyer?
So there are lots of incentives for first-time buyers, but a first-time buyer can have any type of loan. Our FHA loans right now, for housing administration loans, our minimum credit score is 580 right now, and conventional is as low as 620. And your mortgage loan officer will help you through which one is better and why. It's kind of the pros and cons between those. And regardless of first-time home buyer or not, you can qualify for either of those loans.
Awesome. Well, I know you talked earlier about working with a credit company to help me raise my score. Well, I've been saving money for a down payment. Are they going to tell me to use all that money to pay everything off and then I don't have down payment? Or what do I do? Because I've always heard you need a down payment to buy a house.
So you do need a down payment. We do have some down payment assistance programs available through the state of Texas. But really, it depends on your personal goals. I think the best place to get that answered would probably be through a financial planner. They're going to be able to tell you if it's your goal to pay down your debt or if it's your goal to go ahead and move forward with a mortgage. There's no really surefire one true answer. It kind of depends on you, your goals, and where you're at. But again, not a licensed credit repair specialist and not a licensed financial planner. But if you do decide to go the mortgage route, we can talk through those options. The nice thing is about applying for a mortgage, you are not set in stone. It doesn't cost you a dime until we go through the appraisal and you sign on closing day. So just getting the estimate is completely free.
But does applying for a mortgage through you the first time, does that affect my credit now?
It could. So we're going to pull what's called a hard credit or a hard inquiry, and that could affect your credit score temporarily. It shows up on your credit for a year, and it could feel like a 5-point or up to a 10-point hit on your credit.
Okay. Well, the reason I asked that, and the other thing, well, that's for another day, but there's other questions I have, but I just wanted to try to keep today with people, who may be on the fence about buying a home or might be having credit issues. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop all your contact information below in the description. That way you'll know how to get a hold of Josh if you would want to. And if you have any further questions, just leave them in the comments. If he doesn't see them, I'll get them to him and we'll get you an answer right away. And hope you've enjoyed this video, and we'll talk with you soon.